Out of patience, Ju Hyun had to resort to drastic measures. What are you thinking about? Hurry up and say it. A kick from Seo Ju Hyun made him feel pain like heaven. Seo Ju Hyun felt that gentleness was not enough, so he ordered the rope. This can't be done, the rope let him down. You need to be punished a little to be good. But after a while of giving the order, the rope remained in its original state. The rope. Oh sorry, I'm a little busy. Seo Ju Hyun heard that and wondered, what are you busy with? I got it, said the rope as he dragged a person. That person was none other than Yu Jae-ha. Let me go, I can walk by myself, if I had the holy relic, you would be finished. Yu Jae-ha was thrown in front of Seo Ju Hyun. Seo Ju Hyun looked at Yu Jae-ha and asked curiously, Yu Jae-ha, boss. Why are you here, where is everyone? Jae-ha looked at the boss with fear in his eyes, he stammered and replied, they are at home. The two just looked at each other without saying anything. After a while, Seo Ju Hyun took out the holy relic. He questioned Yu Jae-ha, I have a question for you, why are you here when they are at home? Why are you trying to deceive me like that? Ju Hyun can't accept that one member can deceive another. I ask you, why did you run away? Are you really a traitor? Even though he was angry, Seo Ju Hyun really didn't want Yu Jae-ha to be a traitor. He had to answer honestly, you know what it's like to lie? I won't forgive you if my friends die because of you. Yu Jae-ha knelt down and replied, yes, I am the traitor. Because of me, both the boss and the other members died. I came to be killed by you, boss. Joshua looked at the situation in front of him and was stunned, what the hell are they doing? Yu Jae-ha wished he could redeem himself. But before that, listen to me, I know some information that might help you. Ju Hyun agreed to give Yu Jae-ha a chance to explain. Okay, I'll listen. But of course he had not forgotten the enemies still behind him. First, you must leave here, Joshua wondered. What? I have to go? Does that mean you're going to let me go? Seo Ju Hyun was also embarrassed by his naivety. Are you kidding? You will be my hostage for the rest of your life, you idiot. With that, Joshua was sucked inside by Seo Ju Hyun's the holy relic. After finishing Joshua, he turned back to Yu Jae-ha and said, now I should listen to you, say it. Oh yes. First, he had to be careful of the Pandoras, but Seo Ju Hyun immediately interrupted. No. Let's start from the beginning, I still don't understand why you betrayed us, tell me everything. Yu Jae-ha began to admit everything with a trembling voice. I had two biggest mistakes that he made that changed what happened on our last tomb raid. First, he stole the group member information and gave it to Yang Chen. And second, he didn't properly restore our holy relic. Yu Jae-ha shouted with torment, everyone died, just because of me. Forgive me, boss, I killed everyone. I didn't mean to make it sound like that, but... Tears of repentance just kept falling. Sobbing, Yu Jae-ha cowed out and begged for forgiveness. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Ju Hyun thought to himself, how strange, his memories must have all returned. The old him wouldn't cry in front of me. Even though he respected me with all his heart, he wouldn't do that. Furthermore, he even intended to leave his life in my hands. If someone asked me if he betrayed me, I would say he was innocent. Well, I guess so. Looking at Yu Jae-ha's tearful face, Seo Ju Hyun spoke up. So the problem is, you only did what Yang Chen ordered. But you didn't mean to harm us, right? Yes, but, at this moment, the rope also came to eavesdrop. What are you two talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not going to use that as an excuse, because in the end what I did got people killed. Ju Hyun looked at the person in front of him without a trace of doubt, he must be telling the truth. He had good intentions so he renewed Yang Chen, but the result was not what he thought. From then on, he felt so guilty that his personality changed. The death of his teammates made it impossible for him to live in peace. In many situations, he always thought about his teammates and that guilt many times, causing him to feel pressured. He wasn't evil, my teammates probably didn't realize that. But I'm sure he won't die of old age. Seo Ju Hyun asked, so what information is useful to me? Ah, that. Pandora is not just an organization with the same goal and intelligent presence. I feel like they all act based on their interests and the holy relic. I used to check their origins to create trouble for them, but I still don't remember everything. Ah, they're trying to create a new holy relic. Seo Ju Hyun heard this and thought to himself, how could he create the holy relic? Even if he could create it, it would only be a fake the holy relic. If it were possible to obtain the holy relic without conquering the crypt, then very soon there would be a lot of people using the holy relic. But why? What did Pandora do that for? Ju Hyun replied, try to remember what they are really trying to do. Yu Jeha was confused. That thing, I'm trying to remember. If the community finds out about this, Pandora's reputation will be ruined. So, TKBM is also plotting something. Hearing those meaningless words made Seo Ju-hoon annoyed. Tell me the important information right away. Yu Jeha rubbed his head in confusion. I'm sorry. Okay, how did you react after receiving that information? We can conclude from that. Yu Jeha bowed his head, hesitating. I don't know, I died while gathering information about it. Seo Ju-hoon approached, wondering, dead, what are you talking about? But then he realized, don't tell me, you killed yourself. Back to New York City. In the police station's holding cell, Seola was leaning against the wall, thinking. Then a police officer came unannounced. Miss Seola, please leave. So Chloe came to bail Martin out. Chloe, when did you come? Just now. I asked you two to arrest you Jeha and then heard that you both got taken to the police station. I don't know what to say, it's all my fault. But now everyone is released, because I have proven that the body is fake. Martin wondered, how did you do that? Chloe replied innocently. I didn't do anything, it just turned into a sand statue. I thought I would prove it quickly, but it was too late. My assessment was wrong. Well, things didn't go exactly as planned. But now, we can go find you Jeha again. Seola continued to order the holy relic. Gildel, find you Jeha. Understood. The holy relic is on his way again. This time we'll catch him easily. Chloe wondered. How could they be so sure? Miller replied. Because he no longer owned the holy relic Da Vinci. He left it on the fake body and relinquished ownership. Even Chloe was surprised to hear that. What? Why would he do that? That was strange. How could he fight without his main weapon? Miller agreed. She was right. Seola suddenly felt a strong holy relic aura that was so strong that it could be felt intensely. Seola spoke up. I think I found it. Really? I used the holy relic to search and immediately found the sign. Great, where is he? He is staying at the mansion of the King of Destiny. And what surprised her even more was that Yu Jeha was at the boss's place. Chloe asked them. Is Yu Jeha at the boss's place? Why is he looking for the boss after escaping from us? What is he planning to do? Miller said. Whatever it is, this is good. Now we know where he is. Let's go. They heard him say it in unison. Yes, deputy. Jeha's side tensed up as he listened to Ju Hyun's words. Don't tell me you killed yourself. He bowed his head in reply. Yes, you are right. I deserve to suffer and die for doing those things. I deserve to die anyway. As soon as he finished speaking, he was suddenly hit painfully in the face with a rope. He screamed. Why did you hit someone? Who would have thought that Ju Hyun would even praise him? You did well. He felt very pleased when he heard that. He laughed. Why did you choose such a stupid way to die? That's all you wanted to say, right? He rubbed his head. Yes, then. He suddenly interrupted. Get out. There's no more business here. He looked up, bewildered. Then asked. What? What about me? He said blandly. Of course I'm coming with you. You idiot. You want to sleep here? Jeha screamed in horror. Kill me, boss. He looked at him with half an eye and replied. No. He kept pounding his chest. I am a traitor. Everyone died because of me. I am the one who should die. But the left chest with him he calmly said. It's not your time to die yet. Why? Do you want to die again? Jeha asked, confused. What do you mean it's not time yet? Ju Hyun replied. Really? You don't seem to know what the situation is? The members haven't explained anything yet? He was confused. I was hiding from them. Then Jeha rubbed his ears awkwardly. Now that he thought about it, why did everyone come back to life? Even him. Ju Hyun explained. It wasn't rebirth. But he was able to return 15 years before his death. The reason he regained his memory was because of the effects of the holy relic. He was dumbfounded. Was such a thing even possible? Ju Hyun said as he walked. I don't know. The thing is, we've been given a second chance, so I want to make the most of it. And with your memories, you should know to be careful with Pandora and TKBM. We are no longer a part of them. Hearing that, Jeha was bewildered. This time I will destroy them, he added. I will make sure the world's ending is different from the previous life. What do you think? You're not going to help me. You're more useful when you're alive. Ju Hyun laughed. Jae-ha hesitated. But he didn't mind. I got everyone killed. Ju Hyun just said. I knew you didn't mean it. You did get us killed by accident. And I will never forget that. But that's no reason to kill you now. I've been thinking about the good you can do for us in the future. So I decided to give you another chance. Jae-ha couldn't help but be surprised by Ju Hyun's words. Listen to Ju Hyun again. Remember, the memory you experience is completely different from reality. So what will you do? If you don't want to help me and want to die, then I can kill you right now. After saying that, he really drew his sword. Then he pointed it straight at Jae-ha's face, his eyes widened in surprise. He curled his lips and said, choose. Suddenly Jae-ha started to feel emotional. Then could not control but burst into tears. He trembled and said, Boss, please. Please give me a chance. He said as he tried to wipe away the tears that were falling. Ju Hyun looked at him and smiled slightly. But he still teased and raised his sword. What? I didn't hear clearly, tell me to do it. He was scared and quickly waved his hand. Why? You said you wouldn't kill me. Ju Hyun laughed, just kidding, silly. He said resentfully, I was so shocked. Then Jae-ha ran ahead. I'm hungry, let's go find something to eat. He hurriedly chased after. Yes, boss. At a food shop on the street. Jae-ha happily looked at the delicious burger on the table. Enjoy your meal. Ju Hyun saw his reaction and said. It's been a long time since you've eaten. You must be hungry. He replied immediately, extremely hungry. Just then a footstep came forward. Ju Hyun glanced around, only Jae-ha was still eating continuously. Suddenly a cold voice rang out behind him. Found you Jae-ha. He shivered, feeling the cold from behind him. Seol-ah asked worriedly, Boss, are you okay? Did Jae-ha attack you? He replied, We're fine. Why are you all here? Miller frowned, I came to get you Jae-ha. How dare you trick me and run away from me? Jae-ha looked at him tremblingly. He looked murderous again. If I stabbed him now, wouldn't blood splatter everywhere? Jae-ha was scared out of his wits. Ju Hyun stood up to stop him. What are you trying to do in someone else's shop? Calm down, the problem is solved. Miller was surprised, the problem was solved? Ju Hyun raised a hand to signal him to stop. It was true that he accidentally got me killed during that conquest. Miller is mad again, is that true? That's why you're running away from me? Jae-ha held his head and cried, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Ju Hyun interrupted, Hey Miller, calm down, destroying everything here is not okay. The important thing is that Jae-ha didn't mean it. So I decided to give him a chance. He paused, what? Why are you deciding? Ju Hyun said, I'm your boss, are you going to argue with me? Chloe and Seol-ah smiled wryly, this was over. Then Chloe quickly stopped these two people, you two stop, you told Miller to calm down, why are you so aggressive? Showing off power in public is not good, look at the shop owner crying. Keep a cool head, let's hear Jae-ha's explanation. We all lost our lives in that conquest, so we all have the right to speak up after hearing everything. Ju Hyun heard and said, yes, she was right. Tell them slave number one. Jae-ha looked at him blankly. He glanced at him, it was his fault for running away from them, making them think he was a traitor, how about convincing them? He was terrified, what if I can't do it? He said coldly, I don't know. Then they went back to the hotel. Jae-ha knelt before the three of them, Miller, Chloe, and Seol-ah. Miller said murderously, now let's hear the explanation. Jae-ha couldn't help but tremble, okay. Then Jae-ha told them about the past again. This time he told all the other members too. Everyone seemed quite annoyed when he told them, which was understandable. Julian Miller said irritably, so that's the truth, to summarize. You stole our data, and gave it to Kong Chen. And then carelessly restored our holy relic to an unfinished state, right, he said, gritting his teeth in anger. Jae-ha was scared, hurriedly begged, please forgive me, I really deserve to die. Julian Miller glared at him, if you feel that way, I will kill you right now. At this time, Seo Ju Hyun immediately defended Jae-ha. It was true that he gave him our information, but he was also deceived by Kong Chen. Kong Chen said he needed that information to test our ability to give the tomb away. Julian Miller wondered, what if he was making up an excuse to get out of the crime? Seo Ju Hyun quickly replied, you still think that way even though you lived a sinful life to the point of committing suicide? You must remember very clearly what kind of bad deeds you did in the past. But just now, he just came to me to ask for death. Hearing that, Julian Miller was surprised and said, "What? How is that possible?" Lee Seola stood beside him and continued, "That must be the reason why he left the holy relic Da Vinci on the fake corpse." Seo Ju-hyun was surprised when she heard that and asked, "Did he leave the holy relic Da Vinci?" Lee Seola nodded and replied, "Yes, that's right, but we already took it back." "I didn't expect someone like you Jae-ha to do that." Seo Ju-hyun sighed and said, "Yes, unbelievable." Chloe told them, "He did steal my data, but it's possible that the data didn't contain any important information." Julian Miller asked doubtfully, "Are you sure?" Chloe quickly affirmed, "I remember everything I did in the past thanks to that memory recovering holy relic." Seo Ju-hyun said again, "I know how Chloe works, so I'm still wondering, the data that you Jae-ha stole probably doesn't have important information about our team." Julian Miller asked again, "What about the restoration of the holy relic?" Seo Ju-hyun calmly replied, "Wasn't it always like that back then?" Julian Miller gritted his teeth and said, "You're right, that's why I'm so upset." Yu Jae-ha panicked, huddled in the corner, trembling and begging, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I swear." Seo Ju-hyun glanced at Julian Miller, "Well, what are you going to do? My holy relics didn't work well during that tomb raid, which is why we died. Even if we bring along a bunch of good holy relics, it's no use if they don't work well, right?" Julian Miller immediately replied, "Yes." Seo Ju-hyun told Miller, "If you want to kill Jae-ha, you should find someone who can restore the holy relic as well as him first." Julian Miller sighed and said, "Then what else is there to ask?" "Okay, but I'll keep an eye on you." Lee Seola and Chloe also added, "Us too, don't even think about doing anything stupid." Yu Jae-ha happily shouted, "Thank you everyone very much." Seo Ju-hyun smirked and said, "Now, since everyone has agreed, let's get back to work." Then he directly threw him a bunch of the holy relic. Yu Jae-ha said with a tearful face, "Wait a minute, why so many?" Seo Ju-hyun smiled evilly and said, "While you were unconscious, I tried many types of the holy relic. Fix it tomorrow." Yu Jae-ha was startled and stammered, "Tomorrow, are you kidding?" Seo Ju-hyun immediately said, "What's wrong? You've slept for so long, you must be very energetic now. Aren't things like this simple for you?" Yu Jae-ha smiled awkwardly and replied, "No, even though it was simple, it was a bit too much." Seo Ju-hyun asked calmly, "What, can't you do it?" "Oh, if I had a leg cut off without any sedatives, it would hurt so much, I suddenly want to test it on someone." Yu Jae-ha heard that and said fearfully, Okay, I did it. And that's how Yu Jae-ha, who regained his memories, became better despite his bad personality in the past. But because of his mistakes in his previous life, he changed for the better. Maybe he had to be under a lot of pressure to change his personality like that. Yu Jae-ha, I don't know what to do either, he was the one who used the holy relic to restore his memories. Anyway, it's all over now, and now all that's left is. Just then, Julian Miller burst in angrily screaming, "Damn it, they're everywhere, I can't even shop properly anymore." They radiated a lot of murderous aura from their bodies, it seemed like they were searching for the destined king. Seo Ju-hyun smiled and said, "It's understandable, that news is all over the newspapers now. The King of Destiny, Pandora's VIP disappears, world leaders are in panic, great reward for whoever finds him." Previous clients who had benefited greatly from his prophecy were going crazy, including many top excavation teams and even world leaders. Julian Miller wondered, if so, it was only a matter of time before they found us, why did you keep him? Seo Ju-hyun quickly replied, "Of course there's a reason, let's go see, we finished that thing." Then, the two of them went down to the basement together. They came to a large room. Seo Ju-hyun slowly opened the door, Julian Miller looked around and asked in confusion, "What is it?" Seo Ju-hyun immediately said, "It is the Holy Relic Temple Delhi, where the King of Destiny collects prophecies." "Now I'll prophesy for myself," Julian Miller continued, "I don't think all of us can use this holy relic, it must be based on compatibility." Seo Ju-hyun looked at Joshua who was tied up in front of him and said, "Of course, only the owner of this holy relic can use it." "I'll use him to get the prophecies, he's useful huh?" "Many things have changed since the past, so relying on memories alone won't predict the future, I can make up for that disadvantage with this name." Chloe walked over with the box and said, "Boss, the items are ready." Seo Ju-hyun said, Good." Julian Miller asked curiously, "What is this?" Chloe replied to him, "Sleeping pills." He looked at the words on it, then said doubtfully, "Sleep immediately, I can't open my eyes anymore, let's sleep until death, isn't this medicine dangerous?" Seo Ju-hyun quickly explained that the Holy Relic Delhi could only work when the user fell asleep, and he would obtain the prophecy in the form of a dream. Julian Miller said in surprise, "You're going to put him to sleep, I think he'll die from drug shock before that." Seo Ju-hyun said calmly, "We have the best doctor here, don't worry about him dying, he can't even if he wants to." Chloe smiled wryly and thought, it sounds like a compliment, but... At this moment, Yu Jaeha walked in carrying a large box of stuff and asked, Boss, where should we put these cameras? Julian Miller said blankly, Camera, what for? Seo Ju-hyun said excitedly, he, I have an interesting plan. I will broadcast the prophecies live for the whole world to hear. Julian Miller looked at him in confusion, what, are you serious? Of course, except for important information, only uncertain information is transmitted. Prophecies are such a hot topic, content like this will attract audiences quickly. Now we are ready. Sending you to Dreamland, come here quickly. Still haven't found him yet. The other guy stammered, yes sir, we still haven't found his location, even though we've sent out another search party. Eve Rockefeller was furious and scolded the heavens, so why hasn't it been found yet? What a bunch of useless people, go away. The other guy was scared, bowed his head and said, yes, I'm very sorry. Joshua, that idiot, was a member of the round table and yet he was kidnapped so easily. Must find Joshua before Rothschild returns, so sad. Just then, a subordinate from outside rushed in and shouted, Sir, Eve Rockefeller. Seo Ju-hyun appeared on this show, he said while holding out his phone. Eve Rockefeller said in confusion, what the hell are you talking about? Looking at the phone, she said in surprise, what is he doing? Seo Ju-hyun smiled and said, good evening, you useless people. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say, I'm sure you'll enjoy this show. This show is called Nostradamus' Future, I'm sure you guys already know what this show is about. It is a prophetic program. You all know this, some of the holy relics have the ability to predict the future. The one who can predict the future, using the holy relics to sell information about the future for a high price, that person is the King of Fate. After capturing him, we talked about a lot of things, and then decided to cooperate. I will be announcing all kinds of Destiny King prophecies in this program, stay tuned, because the first to see will have many benefits. This show will be free to air, so all of you will get this service for free, how about that, sounds great right? And if you want, you can buy some of our company's products, we have a lot of interesting products, that's enough, see you in the main program. Eve Rockefeller gritted her teeth angrily and said, Seo Ju-hyun. You son of a bitch Seo Ju-hyun, how dare you? After Seo Ju-hyun announced it, everyone was extremely excited, we can listen to the prophecy of the King of Destiny for free, oh my god, this is so amazing. If used properly it will be very beneficial, I will not miss this program. The other side is extremely tense, we have enough clues, let's analyze the tape, then find his location quickly. The prophecy of the King of Destiny can only be ours, now everyone is looking for the King of Destiny, we must take advantage. Find the location of the King of Destiny quickly, the prophecy cannot be leaked out. The show's commercial has just been posted and has already received such a big response. Of course, who wouldn't be interested in the power of the King of Fate, even ordinary people who aren't affiliated with the Holy Relic would definitely be interested. On the contrary, those who had profited from his prophecy must have been very angry and had already started looking for ways to stop this program. They can investigate this tape to find their location, or they can write spam comments about how the prophecy is fake. But it won't help. I guessed it, this program was arranged by me, designed to not reveal my location. As for those spam comments, they will disappear as soon as this program becomes real. Ironically, while they are doing that, they don't realize that they themselves are the ones who are most attracted to this program. Because in order to do that, they have to watch the show, and then they will become our loyal followers. Now, everyone is attracted to this program. The bulletin board was flooded with announcements, hello everyone, welcome back to the show The Future of Nostradamus, I am the King of Scams. Oh no, wait, I am the MC for today's show. Hello, I am Irene, from the future for each day. Today I will announce the prophecies about the results of sports competitions. Today's news is going to be something everyone will love, I'm going to announce the stock market. The community became enthusiastic and passionate, even the number of replays was huge. I won't miss the opportunity to make money, but the money from advertising is quite small. Well, money is money. But there is something more interesting than money, I can make Pandora and other excavation teams panic, by announcing some false prophets, to get them interested, and then they will eventually blame themselves for not getting anything. But the feedback on false prophets is quite negative. Listen to me, don't be angry because the prophecies didn't come true, it's all normal events. Since many people change their behavior after learning about the prophecy, the prophesied future will be changed, which is a side effect of prophecy. If you guys don't want to say that, do you want me to only tell the prophecy to certain people, don't you? But not long after, just as I had planned, everyone went crazy. According to Seo Ju-hyun's prophecy, there is a high-level holy relic in that tomb, we must get it at all costs, get rid of these people blocking the way. The bulletin board, the fight for ownership of the Jamaican catacombs became increasingly tense, the animosity between excavation teams increased, to the point of creating many unnecessary casualties. Seo Juhian heard that and smiled happily. Ha ha, how stupid, I was sure there would be bloodshed. It's satisfying to watch them get manipulated by fake news. Starting this project was the right thing to do. Okay, now then. Let's hear some interesting prophecies, Joshua said in confusion. What are you talking about? Seo Juhian glared at him. There's no way you just fell asleep. Tell me the locations of the next 7 crypts, quickly. Joshua said tremblingly, I don't know, I don't dream of such things. Seo Juhian said, then other information is fine too. Everything from the catacombs to the holy relic. You know what happens if you give out cheap information, right? Tell me everything, there will definitely be valuable information. At the same time, in another place, the other people were angrily saying, what the hell are you guys doing? Why don't you save the King of Destiny? You're being played by Seo Juhian. All the prophecies he said are not completely true. If this continues, I will only continue to ruin them. Our excavation team must gather and save the destined king. The other person agreed, you are right. Just then, someone spoke up, so, I have an opinion. Why don't we raise funds and send out a request? We'll assemble a team to crush Seo Juhian's excavation team. He said, is there any team that is really capable? The other person continued, I guess there is probably only one team. They are the Aftermath team. He heard that and frowned, the team that handles the Aftermath, isn't it them? Are you a team that is willing to attack other teams for money? Are you trying to destroy our team or something? The other guy immediately retorted, it's true that they're very good at destroying other excavation teams, so I understand why you reacted like that, but we have no other choice now. Since they have the ability to eliminate any team, we must now put our pride aside and leave Seo Juhian's team to them to handle. The crowd around also started to stir. I had no problem at all. The question now was which team would help them destroy Seo Juhian. I didn't know much about their strength, maybe they would destroy us? The other guy said, how about asking Pandora to take care of it? He heard that and replied, oh, yes, I can do that. Ilya said to Quan Huku, I heard about the increasing demand for Seo Juhian's arrest. Chairman Quan Huku smiled and said, Seo Juhian is indeed an interesting man, he cannot be caught by others. He is mine, I must tame him to become my loyal dog. Ilya, she heard that quickly replied, yes. He said, bring Seo Juhian and his subordinates here, don't forget to erase their memories and use him wisely. Can you do it? Ilya immediately replied, of course. The next morning, Seo Juhian told everyone that the number of enemies searching for us was increasing. Julian Miller said uncomfortably, of course it was. And you can just pretend to be innocent, Seo Juhian calmly replied, well, the benefits we gain are not small. From now on, we have to be more careful, use some defensive holy relics to defend. And where is the number one, aren't you guys keeping an eye on him? Julian Miller said, he's organizing some fortune-telling events today. Is that okay? Seo Juhian asked in confusion. Julian Miller said, I have already returned his powers and memories anyway. Seo Juhian agreed, you're right, so he's the most unpredictable one here now. I'll also continue to watch after he's done. On the other side, everyone praised Ujeha, you did well. Ujeha smiled and left, okay, I'll go out first, good job today. He looked at his back as he left, wondering, no matter how closely he looked, he was really strange. Hey, don't you think he's changed? The more I look at him, the smarter he seems. He looked like an idiot before. Oh, Sung-woo replied, but he was very smart, I mean he was very good at using the holy relic. The other guy still didn't understand, what was the reason, did he eat something wrong, or did he hit his head somewhere? Oh, Sung-woo told them, clean up quickly, this is much harder than farming. At the same time, Ujeha walked while complaining, oh, I'm so tired, damn, this time my job is even harder than before. But, it's my fault, how can I have the right to complain? Just then, he suddenly heard a strange noise behind him. Suddenly, a stranger appeared from nowhere and shouted, goodbye, Ujeha. Then he fired directly at him. His accomplices heard that and hurriedly ran out to ask, have they caught him yet? The other guy said in confusion, he disappeared, how could that happen? Just then, suddenly a potted plant fell from above. Attacking like that also wants to kill me, don't even dream about it, take this. Then the potted plant fell straight on his head. The other guy shouted angrily, you arrogant king, damn it, wait for me. Ujeha smiled and replied from above, do you think I will wait for you? Go home, wash your face, sleep and stop dreaming, you idiot. They're so reckless these days, they don't even care where they are or if they're hurting anyone. Well, no matter what happens, the boss can take care of everything. So sometimes I have to do it myself, I have to move faster. Suddenly, he stopped as if he sensed something was wrong. Ujeha quickly turned back. But seeing no one, he wondered doubtfully, what is this, did I just feel something? Is it just a feeling? Maybe I'm more sensitive because I'm being chased by so many people. I really need to move faster. He didn't notice that the hat at his feet was now emitting a strange light. A giant snake suddenly appeared. Quickly surrounded him. Ujeha couldn't believe his eyes, he shouted in surprise, what the hell? The python immediately opened its mouth wide. Ujeha panicked and said, damn it, this is over. At that moment, Ilya slowly walked over from behind. Simply, this was the first prey. I will deal with your members one by one, and then it will be your turn in the end, Seo Juhyun. That night, at Seo Juhyun's house, what was it? Did he go somewhere else? Seo Juhyun asked them. Oh Sung-woo's group immediately replied, yes, boss. Julian Miller frowned and said, I told him not to let him leave as he pleased. Lee Seola walked over and asked in confusion, what's wrong, what's the matter? Julian Miller told her, couldn't find you Jaeha, must have finished filming that show long ago. Seo Juhyun told them, huh, okay, good job. Oh Sung-woo and the others said, yes, boss. He wondered, you Jaeha, where did you go? Julian Miller said, do you want us to go find him? Using the holy relic to search should get it out quickly. Seo Juhyun said again, yes, but I'm not sure that's the right decision. Lee Seola stood beside him and continued, I can find him, just be careful. Seo Juhyun sighed and replied, okay, go find him, if you see anything strange, let me know right away. At the same time, Yu Jaeha was in a panic. Inside the snake's belly, he kept complaining, oh my god, it's so slimy, and it smells terrible. What was that just now? A snake? Am I inside a snake's belly? Then he was quickly swallowed. Yu Jaeha looked around in confusion, the snake's belly was so big, the smell was horrible. But at least I can still breathe, not bad. I thought I would be crushed inside? Suddenly something was placed on his head. Yu Jaeha turned around in confusion, stammering, what is this? He gasped in surprise when he discovered it was a large elephant. As soon as he saw the giant elephant in front of him, Yu Jaeha couldn't help but panic, oh my god, what the hell is this? Then he quickly ran away. Run? I have to run away from here, there's no way such a big elephant is in here, this is crazy. I'd rather be stuck here. It's a bit cramped, but I guess it can't attack me like this. The python suddenly felt something stuck in its throat. It immediately swallowed it down. Yu Jaeha once again drifted down below, ah, damn. Just a moment later, Yu Jaeha fell down with a thud. The elephant was already standing below waiting for him. Yu Jaeha quickly changed his attitude and immediately bowed his head humbly, I apologize for causing a ruckus, I'm just an ordinary person, don't kill me. I'll just sit here in a corner, that's me. The elephant continued to tease him, Yu Jaeha panicked and shouted, hey, I don't like other people attacking me like that, stop it. Yu Jaeha still used all his intelligence, thinking hard, what should he do now? No, first of all, why is there an elephant in a place like this? Ah, perhaps, an elephant inside a snake swallowing an elephant. It's Little Prince. Once upon a time, there was a boy who drew a snake swallowing an elephant, but the adults didn't notice and said the drawing was nothing special. And he gave up his dream of becoming an artist and became a pilot. When he was stranded in a desert, he met Little Prince. When he was stranded in a desert, he met Little Prince. And it has the shape of a big snake, while the enemy only sees it as a normal hat, that's why I was caught so easily. This could be dangerous for everyone. At the same time, Julian Miller and Lee Seola were running around looking for Yu Jaeha. Julian Miller asked Lee Seola, here, Lee Seola immediately replied, yes. He was right here before. Before she could finish her words, a giant snake suddenly appeared in front of her. It instantly engulfed Julian Miller. Lee Seola stood still, not knowing what to do. Oh my god, his body was gone. It's like there's something right in front of me. But I can't see it. Lee Seola quickly called out, Gildel. It's useless, how can I fight an invisible opponent? She clenched her teeth in frustration. Then quickly run away. Ilya appeared and said, ha, dodged the pond, lucky guy. But I won't let you get away like that. Seeing him, Lee Seola said in surprise, you. Ilya looked at her blankly, ha, you recognize me. At this moment, the python behind immediately charged over. Swallow her whole into your stomach. Ilya said calmly, humph, it's useless to realize it, your memories will be manipulated. Easy, I'll use this method to catch them all. Now there's only the doctor, a girl, and a Seo Juhyun left, and they'll eventually be caught like this. Furthermore, half of the team members are gone, now it will be easier to trap him, Ilya said smugly. The subordinates also added, yes, Captain Ilya. In the belly of the python at this time, Julian Miller and Lee Seola were finally brought inside. Seeing the two of them, Ujeha said in surprise, Julian Miller, you were swallowed in here too? Why did you get swallowed too? Why didn't you use the holy relic Zhugalian? Julian Miller replied angrily, the one who got swallowed here first was you, you're really talkative. I went looking for you, and now I'm being swallowed like this. Ujeha held his head and said, oh, really, I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Immediately after, Lee Seola fell from above. She looked around in confusion and asked, where is this? Julian Miller frowned and said, damn, even Lee Seola was swallowed by this snake. Lee Seola went to ask Ujeha, why are you here? Ujeha sighed and said, oh my god, it looks like the whole group will be swallowed up in here. Lee Seola told them, I think a big snake swallowed me. Julian Miller agreed, saying, yes, when I was swallowed, I also saw a big snake. Lee Seola asked in confusion, but why couldn't she see it before it was swallowed? At this moment she suddenly noticed the presence of an elephant behind her. She shouted in surprise, what the hell is this, an elephant, why is it here? Ujeha said, oh, it lives here, luckily it won't attack us. Just leave it here and work. Lee Seola looked at him with doubtful eyes, are you sure? Julian Miller standing next to him said, well, it's probably believable, what else can be done now besides destroying this holy relic? Lee Seola continued, that's right, we have to act quickly to inform the boss, because the person behind this is, Ilya. Hearing this name, Julian Miller was a bit startled. Ujeha asked, Ilya, you mean team member Ilya Volkov? Lee Seola nodded and replied, yes, he stopped me, I saw his face. Actually, I've been looking for him, but it seems like no matter where I look, there's no trace of him. I didn't expect to meet him again like this. Julian Miller said seriously, Ilya is not weak, he can harm the boss, we really have to act quickly. Suddenly a brilliant halo radiated from his body. Ujeha wondered, what are you going to do? Julian Miller said, we have to break out of here. I will use the holy relic's fifth sense to break through this snake's body. Ujeha hurriedly stopped him, wait, don't do that. Outside, the snake suddenly felt something strange about its body. Seeing that it still had no effect, Julian Miller said, not enough, then do something stronger. Ujeha frantically stopped him, hey, stop it right now. Julian Miller shouted in annoyance, hey, what do you mean stop, do you want to live with that elephant here for the rest of your life? Ujeha awkwardly said, that's not it, if you just recklessly attack it like that then. Before he could finish his sentence, there was a loud noise behind him. The elephant was fiercely chasing them. Ujeha quickly ran away. Oh my god, there, see, I knew it. Julian Miller angrily said, hey, you idiot, you said the elephant wouldn't attack us. If we stand still, it will be fine, but now we must run. The snake outside suddenly felt a little chaotic inside. Ilya said, okay, we have this area surrounded, now we just need to trap them here. Can't wait to see what you'll be like, Seo Juhyun. The scene shifts to Seo Juhyun's building. On the opposite side, Ilya and his subordinates were watching every move, not taking their eyes off them for even a second. Ilya asked him, has Seo Juhyun left the building yet? The other guy replied, no, Seo Juhyun still hasn't shown up yet. This situation made it impossible for him to move freely because he was being closely monitored. Hearing that, Ilya immediately left, keep an eye on him, he might be out tonight, I'll go back and rest first. The subordinates obeyed and replied, yes, boss. Early the next morning. Ilya is so angry, why isn't he coming out yet? The other guy replied, not even a hair was visible. Ilya said in confusion, his own people disappeared and he was still so relaxed? Should we call him? The other two said in unison, yes, we were thinking about that too. Seo Juhyun was sitting idly watching the news when suddenly his phone rang. He picked up the phone and said, Julian Miller. Chloe quickly urged, Deputy Captain, please pick up the phone. Lee Seola and the deputy team went out yesterday and still haven't returned. I wonder what happened. Seo Juhyun picked up the phone and said, where have you been? Ilya on the other end of the line replied. Ah, Seo Juhyun. Excuse me, but I have your man. If you want to save them, go to the intersection now. Seo Juhyun said in surprise, you are holding my people captive? You caught them that easily? Ilya continued, yeah, what, you don't believe it? Seo Juhyun told him, I don't know who you are but tell my people, the people you are holding. That they were fired? Ilya heard this and was immediately stunned for 5 seconds. As for the other people, they were still running madly away from the mad elephant. Julian Miller gritted his teeth and said, go away. Then he quickly charged towards the elephant. Lee Seola suddenly spoke up, "Deputy Captain, I can hear what they are saying outside." Julian Miller said in surprise, "What?" They heard what Seo Ju-hyun said to the others, "I don't know who you are, but tell my people who are being held captive by you that they were fired." They heard this and froze, looking at each other in confusion. "What are you talking about, boss? Are you abandoning us like this?" Ilya shouted in surprise, "What did you say? They are all here." Seo Ju-hyun calmly replied, "Yes, fire them all, they are hostages now, right? That means they failed to complete the task I gave them, so I fired them. Is there a problem?" "Hang up the phone," Ilya said confusedly. "Hey, wait a minute. What the hell is wrong with this guy?" Inside, Yu Jae-ha was furious and cursing. "How mean, boss thinks we want to be caught." Lee Seol-ah immediately said, "He must really think so." Julian Miller said optimistically, "It's okay, maybe Seo Ju-hyun believed that we could get out on our own, so he said that." Yu Jae-ha still said bitterly, "But he shouldn't have done that." Immediately after that, the elephant continued to chase them. Julian Miller got angry, gritted his teeth and said, "You've gone too far, aren't you bored? Now I'm going to attack you for real." He then gave it a fatal blow. The snake was also sensing a great power coming. Just heard a boom. The snake's entire body exploded. Ilya looked at them in confusion. "What? How did you escape my holy relic?" "You destroyed my holy relic," Lee Seola said calmly. "Ah, probably." Ilya quickly shouted loudly, "Attack them," and quickly captured them. Julian Miller told them, "Disperse quickly, you can take care of yourself, right?" Yu Jae-ha smiled and said, "Of course you can only go this far, I will beat you guys like we beat that damn snake." Lee Seola called out, "Gildel." Ilya's face darkened now. "My plan, damn it. No, it's not over yet, just need to get things back into shape." Just then, a subordinate was flying towards him. He quickly dodged to one side. Julian Miller said smugly, "Oh, that's bad. I'll give you another chance, you bastard. I don't know what you're planning, but once we get out, all your plans will be ruined. Stop hiding behind your soldiers." Ilya asked in confusion, "What, hiding behind my soldiers?" Suddenly there was a scream next to him. The subordinates kept screaming, unable to attack it. "I thought it was a ghost, don't we have an exorcist on our side? My holy relic isn't working, damn it, what did you do?" Ilya glared and said, "Straight bastard." Suddenly a strange light appeared around him. "Show up, GAAP." Immediately after, a giant monster appeared. Julian Miller said, "The holy relic devil, looks like you're ready for battle?" He smiled and said, "No. GAAP is not a demon meant for fighting, but for preparing for something better." Julian Miller grimaced and said, "Damn it, you choose to run away." Then their subordinates also disappeared. Lee Seola said in confusion, "Deputy Captain, they're disappearing." Julian Miller told her, "Yes, they used the holy relic and the demon escaped." Lee Seola asked, "Should we go look for it?" Julian Miller shook his head and replied, "I think we should tell the boss first." Yu Jae-ha interrupted in annoyance, "Yes, tell him, and ask about the firing while you're at it." Julian Miller then said, "Yes, that too." Then the three of them returned. Seo Ju-hyun smiled and said, "Ilya Volkov. So he came in person, good, no need to go looking for him anymore, I will see him again." Julian Miller said again, "I know, you're going to make him your teammate, right?" Seo Ju-hyun replied calmly, "Of course, he's our old teammate." Julian Miller said seriously, "Are you sure? I don't know why, but I'm a little unsure about him." Seo Ju-hyun immediately said, "Julian Miller, did you forget the type of the holy relic he used? We used to secretly rob other people's tombs together, so TKBM's excavation team number 13 was called the Gang of Thieves. Ilya is a member of our group. Due to his versatile nature, he is often assigned many tasks. He has a holy relic called the Forbidden Book Solomon Lemigiton. That holy relic allows its owner to summon 72 demons. Whenever we needed to hide or escape from the catacombs, we often took advantage of the demon's abilities. In addition to directly participating in the process of conquering the catacombs, Ilya also took on many other important tasks as the aftermath team. When the owners of the tombs we conquer condemn us, we will have to deal with that too. Normally it would be Julian, the lawyer, who would handle it. But if he couldn't handle it either, Ilya would ask that person to look him in the eye. He will manipulate their memories and make them forget about it." Ju-hyun's voice rang out, "Miller, did you forget what kind of the holy relic he used?" "It's the holy relic by Freud. Freud was an Austrian neurologist and psychologist who founded psychoanalysis. That holy relic allows him to control his own memories. Which means the Munin tear probably won't work on him." Ju-hyun smiled, "Even so, I still want to try." Julian Miller heard and replied, I understand. So what will you do if he can't make the team anymore? I don't know. Ju-hyun crossed his arms and thought, maybe he could use the Hammurabi Code to do something. Julian secretly sweated, he could use the Hammurabi Code to sign a slave contract with him. Yes, but now is not the time to talk about this. Seola also spoke up, should we hunt him down right away? Seo Ju-hyun smirked and made a decision, yes, go find him. At the same time, on the rooftop of a building, several employees were lying on the ground. Someone came forward and reported that some of our men were injured. Ilya replied, quickly treat the injured. The other guy said, Captain, there are some people using the holy relic approaching us. I think it's Seo Ju-hyun's group. Ilya panicked, what? He raised his voice, they are stubborn, let's separate a few people from the main team. That way they will have a hard time finding us. Everyone replied in unison, yes Captain. Seo Ju-hyun's group is still speeding up the search for Ilya's traces. Suddenly Seola stopped, she raised her head in surprise. She spoke, suddenly their presence diminished. Ju-hyun asked suspiciously, did they realize we were chasing them? He frowned and said, maybe they have the holy relic interfering with the holy relic probes. Julian asked, so what do we do now? Seola replied, it's not that I can't sense their location, but they quickly dispersed. I think we should disperse too. Okay, let's split up, Miller goes with Chloe. Seola went with Jaeha, and Seola remembered to constantly update the team on their location. She asked, wait, are you going alone? Ju-hyun confidently replied, I am strong enough to go alone. If you find Ilya, let me know, he continued. Okay, let's split up. Tall buildings continuously flashed past Ju-hyun's eyes. He quickly moved around the area, let's see, Seola said he was nearby. Suddenly something caught his eye. Bingo, below is exactly Ilya's group of people rushing to escape. The guy with the blue hair covered in the middle was the one who stood out the most. Ju-hyun spoke up, long time no see. One of them looked up into the sky in shock and realized, Captain Ilya, look. Saw Ju-hyun swoop down from the sky with a sharp sword in his hand. Luckily, the crowd quickly retreated, otherwise everyone would have been crushed under that force. They trembled as they called his name, Ju-hyun, his deep voice sounded like a demon from hell. Good boy, where are you going? Ju-hyun smirked. You think you can fool us? It's useless, you can't escape me. Even though you gave my team a bit of a hard time, I alone am more than enough to handle you guys. He said then quickly rushed forward with the sword in his hand. The first guy didn't have time to dodge and got punched until Ciro was in shock. This is crazy, he's very, very strong, no wonder he's confident enough to fight us alone. Ilya also began to summon her own holy relic, appear. Floros. He ordered it to burn the enemies before it to ashes. As soon as he finished speaking, the fire flared up as if it wanted to burn everything down. But the fire also engulfed his staff. They screamed in pain. Ah, it's so hot, I'm going to die. Ilya startled and shouted at the holy relic. Hey, why are you burning my people, are you doing it on purpose? Ju-hyun put his hands on his hips and laughed loudly, ha, I also have the holy relic of the fire element. He curled his lips and said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, fire for fire. Hearing that, Ilya frowned uncomfortably. Well, let's see which one is stronger. Immediately after, the two giant holy relics began to charge at each other. Ilya no longer had the holy relic by his side to protect him. Ju-hyun glanced at him. I'll come play with you now. Seeing him take out the green holy relic again, he dodged and pondered. Both holy relics were very powerful, but how could he use them all at the same time? Ilya's face gradually turned pale. Was he really that strong? Or was he just not concerned about the counterattack because he used the holy relic too much? He was here. Looking at Ju-hyun, who was still full of energy in front of him, he was at a disadvantage. If this continued, he would lose, he had to do something. There's no other way but to manipulate his memories. First I have to make him show an opening by pretending to get hit. No sooner had he said it than when Ju-hyun launched his next attack, he stopped dodging and pretended to raise his hand to block. Then he was knocked out and fell to the ground. The sharp blade pressed against Ilya's face, making him a little scared. Ju-hyun's voice rang out, I lost. He warned him, if you don't want to bleed, don't move, you're still weak, idiot. Ilya cursed under his breath, monster, thinking in his head. I have to calm down, pretend I've given up. Ju-hyun continued, how dare you challenge me? Haven't you heard about my strength? Ilya didn't pay attention to those words, he just silently prayed, come here. It seems like he was not on guard against him. Well, if it were him, I wouldn't have started the fight so carelessly. The distance was gradually closing, but it was still not enough for him to make a move, just a little more. Just as he wished, Ju Hyun lifted his foot and stepped closer. Right now, Ilya's eyes suddenly lit up. That was the sign that he was preparing to manipulate his memories. The current situation is extremely tense, with both sides constantly at odds with each other. Ju Hyun struggled to defend himself from that blow. He frowned and cursed, "This bastard." Ju Hyun tries to prevent Ilya from controlling his memories. His eyes kept glowing. Got it, no one can stop him. His smug voice rang out, "No matter how strong you are, the moment your memories are manipulated, the battle will end. I will see and change all your memories, turning you into our ally." Suddenly, while he was speaking, the handle of the sword hit him straight in the face. It turned out that Ju Hyun was trying to resist. Ilya took a painful blow and fell to the ground. Ju Hyun's situation wasn't much better. He painfully furrowed his brows. "You want to change my memories, damn it, my head." Ilya shouted orders to the holy relic, "Burn him." A torch from somewhere quickly flew towards Ju Hyun. It rushed straight towards him, causing a terrible explosion. Luckily he dodged it in time. The aftershock of the explosion left him curled up on the ground. Ilya approached and said, "You really are. I'm quite surprised that I've already started manipulating memories and you can still move. But thanks to you, thanks to that punch just now, I know how far to change your memories." He widened his eyes. Phase 1 is complete, I will move on to Phase 2. Ju Hyun's head hurt more and more, an electric current seemed to hit his brain. Damn it. The system pops up a notification, "The power of manipulation penetrates your mind, your memories have changed, the things you once knew begin to change." The timeline suddenly goes back to when Ju Hyun was a boy. A voice said, "Are you okay?" The man asked, "Did you just fall?" Ju Hyun replied, "I'm fine." The guy heard that and immediately praised, "Really? You're a mature kid." But that image suddenly changed little by little. Damn it, the Hyun Gunwoo in his memories, he was starting to change into a stranger. The situation fell into a stalemate. Ilya rushed to control Ju Hyun's body to manipulate him more easily. "Looks like he's having a hard time too. What's this? I changed his memories a bit, but he's on the defensive, he's strong. It would take me a long time to want to change all of his memories. But he can't move, I just need to try a little harder and be a little more patient." At the same time somewhere else. Suddenly while running, Chloe spoke up, "Look, Deputy Captain." The four of them met at the fork in the road ahead. "Lee Seola, Yu Jae-ha, they met again. Julian informed me, Seo Ju-hon called me and said he found Ilya. He wants us to come to him." Seola continued, "Yes." Her voice rang out. But something had happened since then. His energy had become increasingly unstable. It definitely happened. Just as expected. "I shouldn't have let him go alone." Chloe interjected. "I've heard that the holy relic Freud can destabilize the target's energy." Julian asked in surprise, "What?" They were very worried about Seo Ju-hon's condition. If that's the case, it would be dangerous. "Yes, we should hurry." Ju-hon's memories started to get mixed up again. The person smiled and called his name, Ju-hon. He struggled. Damn it, it was Quan Hyuk-soo. Is he going to turn Gunwoo into this guy? If so, I'll mistake him for my benefactor. Quan Hyuk-soo, even though both their names are Quan, he is not related by blood to Kwon Tae-jun. They are just half-brothers. He prefers to hide behind the scenes and manipulate things for his own benefit rather than appear in front of people. Most of the TKBM's after-action team members were trained by Quan Hyuk-soo. Looks like Ilya is his subordinate again. The images of the team members also started to blur. Wait, did he start changing everyone's faces? Ju-hon cursed him 1,000 times in his mind, "You bastard, I can't give up." He kept increasing his power, a little more, just a little more. Suddenly a loud scream interrupted his manipulation, stopping him. It was the voice of the group of 4 people. They were quickly running to help Ju-hon. Ilya saw that the situation was not good and ordered everyone to stop them. Julian gathered strength around himself and rushed forward, shouting, "Get out!" The bodyguards had not yet stood up when they were shocked into convulsions. Ilya felt like he couldn't believe his eyes. "Damn, are you guys kidding? Just one hit and he was down." They painfully retorted, "We were all defeated by Seo Ju-hon before, damn it, what a bunch of useless people." Just as he showed his weakness and anger, a kick landed straight on his face. Seo used all his strength to launch that attack. Ilya took a full kick and was sent flying backwards. Seola didn't have time to mind him. She looked at Ju-hon worriedly. "Captain, are you okay?" Trying to control herself. Julian quickly ran over after dealing with the others. "How is he?" "I don't know, but I think he's still conscious." The two of them saw Ilya trying to sit up and became alert. Catch Ilya first, okay, let me. But before the two could do anything, Jeha rushed over with a face full of anger. Damn it, how dare you put me in the snake's belly? His scream made Ju-hoon a little more awake. He tried to open his eyes. Ju-hien rubbed his head. What's wrong? Seol-ah asked worriedly. Captain, are you okay? Julian spoke up too. Do you recognize us? He replied. Of course. That's fine. Ju-hien frowned in frustration. Oh yeah, it's fine. My memories are being manipulated. He almost changed everything. He propped himself up with his hands and sighed. What a nightmare. Then he kicked Ilya straight in the face with great hatred. Hey you bastard. The sound of a beating startled Jeha. It was accompanied by curses. You dare manipulate my memories? I will destroy your memories. No, I will crush your head. Julian was a little concerned about the situation at hand. Okay, he's going to die. Didn't you want him to be our teammate? Ju-hien replied angrily. He deserved to be punished for his crazy actions. He just tried to change Irene's face to Chairman Quan's. He almost made me go out and sleep with Chairman Quan. This is disgusting, should I kill him here? The words he just said made Julian and Seol-ah's expressions change continuously. Julian hesitated. No, we have to stop him. Chloe asked worriedly, are you sure? On the other side, Ilya was constantly paying the price for her stupid actions. Hey, calm down. Let me go, I have to cut off his head. In the end, Julian stopped Ju-hien's rampage. The expert of the Aftermath team, Ilya Volkov, was arrested. Screams continued to echo in an old warehouse. Ilya was captured in a very miserable state. The rope wrapped around his body so tightly that even a scream could not escape his throat. Ju-hien patted my head, you really drive me crazy. My head is still fuzzy. Chloe asked worriedly, was it because his memory had just been manipulated? Did he need treatment? What about medicine? He replied, no, probably not. He must have stopped the memory manipulation before it could actually be changed. The fake memories he manipulated into my head gradually disappeared. That's why I have a headache. She heard and said, that's bad, do you want some painkillers? No need, it will go away. His gloomy voice rang out, but, let's move on. His shadow on the ground grew closer and closer, causing Ilya's eyes to widen in fear. Seol-ah asked curiously, are you going to use the holy relic memory? He replied, yes. Ju-hien continued, I don't know if it will work, but I'll try anyway. Ilya had a bad feeling and struggled in vain. Immediately after, he held out the holy relic in his hand towards him. Now then, try to remember as much as you can. Ilya looked at the holy relic in panic, he really wanted to run away at this moment. The holy relic drops slowly fall. Ilya's memory flashed back to a time when the entire city was in ruins. The image of Chairman Quan Tae-jun appeared before his eyes. What is this? Oh, I remember, I used to work with them. He, yes, is Seo Ju-hien, our captain. We used to conquer the catacombs together every day, yes, in that catacomb. Screams rang out, this place is weird, I have to get out of here. My holy relics are not functioning properly, there is nothing I can do. Ju-hien replied, yes, we should get out of here and gather information before coming back. Ilya replied, okay, but honestly I don't want to go back. The group moved out of the crypt, Ju-hien reminded, be careful. Suddenly something happened that made Ilya stop abruptly. The ground below suddenly shook violently, rocks and debris flying everywhere. A huge black hole beneath the ground swallowed him. People's anxious screams rang out, the floor was collapsing. Damn it, Ilya, Ilya. Yet the hole appeared only under Ilya's feet. None of them reacted in time to save him. Ilya lost gravity and plummeted down. In a moment of panic, she screamed, damn it, come out my demon, save me. Come out quickly, save me, I don't want to die here. A red light enveloped his body. Red drops of blood splattered onto his snow-white face. His eyes widened in fear. Back to reality, Ilya's screams continued to ring out. Chloe looked at him rolling on the ground and said, I think the holy relic works. Ju-hoon's voice rang out, yes, when witnessing one's own death, one would have that kind of expression. Besides, Ilya's death was also very scary. I still remember, he fell into a pitfall and inside the pit was filled with fog. Even though it was filled with fog, I could still see Ilya's body being torn into small pieces. Finally Ilya couldn't take it anymore and rolled her eyes. The rope felt something and let go, what the hell, what the hell? It shouted, Master, he fainted, he fainted. Ju Hon replied, his physical condition is a bit bad, so it's natural that he fainted. Julian spoke up, the holy relic, his memory was working fine. Maybe this time the Ilya we know will return. Ju Hon hesitantly replied, I don't know. There's a chance that Ilya's personality will change like Jaeha's, and if it's in a negative way, it'll probably be even more troublesome than Jaeha's. So, you better keep an eye on him this time, let's go home. Suddenly a voice rang out, stopping their steps. Quan Huku smirked and walked over. What was going on here? Ju Hon saw him and said, Quan Huku, you came faster than I thought. He wondered, do you know me? Co Ju Hon. He smiled back, sure, he knew it very well. He also laughed and said, well, if that's the case then you should know what you're about to face. You and your men won't get out of here. For injuring my men in trying to take Ilya away. I honestly don't think Ilya will fail, but that makes things more interesting. You guys are pretty good, having subordinates like this must be useful. Ju Hon heard and turned back to remind everyone, prepare for battle. Then he turned to provoke him, why don't you try it if you can. Quan Huku did not hesitate and immediately gave the order to attack. The group quickly displayed their power. Julian was the first to counterattack them. But that guy suddenly disappeared and appeared right behind him, attacking somewhere. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrible explosion occurred. When the smoke cleared, there was no figure there. Did he dodge? Did he use some special holy relic to dodge? Gildal identified the target and immediately attacked it. But the power quickly backfired. Coa said in surprise, the attack bounced back, maybe the holy relic over there is difficult to deal with. Chloe worriedly warned, they were no amateurs, moreover they were equipped with the holy relics which were very difficult to deal with. Ju Hyun's frustrated voice rang out. That old man is always like that, always equipping his soldiers with those annoying holy relics. Quan Huku spoke up, hey Seo Ju Hyun, we're both captains, so we should compete against each other. He summoned his own holy relic, to see how strong he was. The system displays a warning, the holy relic assassin is trying to target you. Countless holy relics surrounded Ju Hyun. His sword did not spare a second as it slashed towards them. One was slashed right across the chest and disappeared. Ju Hyun smirked, it was useless. No matter how fast your assassin is, it's no match for this Hwarang sword. Quan Huku also laughed and replied, that's quite interesting. If that's the case, then I just need to increase their numbers. As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding assassins seemed to multiply by 100-fold, surrounding them without a single opening. But Ju Hyun didn't seem afraid at all, he was even extremely excited about the battle ahead. The sharp blade slashed straight at an assassin. Ju Hyun turned to slash another guy. The sword in his hand never stopped for a moment. In the blink of an eye, all those assassins were annihilated. He curled his lips and said, do you understand, numbers mean nothing? Quan Huku remained calm, smiling. Oh. Ju Hyun assumed a fighting stance again. Again, fine, you're just wasting your strength, I'm not. The assassins charged again. But this time it looks much more sophisticated. It was able to successfully dodge his blade. Then immediately counterattacked, causing Ju Hyun's shoulder to be slashed and bleeding. He frowned and cursed under his breath, damn, the assassin seemed very pleased. Huh, are you injured? Ju Hyun worriedly thought, what is this, my body isn't moving the way I want it to. Quan Huku was extremely pleased. Ha ha ha, what's wrong, didn't you say it was useless, now you're the one who doesn't understand. This holy relic assassin is one of my favorite holy relics. I like the ability to summon assassins, but what's even more interesting is that they all have the ability to cause hallucinations. Ju Hyun was startled after hearing that, it seemed like this was beyond his control. He gritted his teeth in frustration, damn it, that's it. Assassins were members of the medieval Shia Ismaili sect of Islam. They were known for their frequent killing of their enemies. There are many theories about the origin of the name assassin. One popular theory is that assassin comes from the name Hasisiasian, which means one who uses stimulants. After using stimulants, it is said that they can kill anyone without regard for their own lives. Quan Huku spoke again, if you fight these assassins, you will soon be invaded by hallucinations. One thing you don't know is, the more you kill them, the stronger the illusion effect becomes. The result is, as you can see, Ju Hyun gradually falls into a hallucination. Damn it, why are you so cute? He heard that and smiled, thanking him for the compliment. This time I've summoned an assassin, let's see how long you can last. Keep fighting, he said. The assassins started charging. Ju Hyun barely dodged the attack, the blade almost cutting his neck. Seeing him like that, he said, oh, you changed your fighting style? But holding on or avoiding it won't change anything. In that critical situation, the rope suddenly came running. Strange, strange. It exclaimed anxiously. The master looked exhausted. It didn't look like the usual master, didn't look like the master. What should I do? What should I do? The master ordered me to take care of this guy. On that side, the fighting situation was still extremely tense. Suddenly Ju Hian slipped. He fell backwards. Damn it. The rope could not bear it any longer and flew over. Master, no. It tried to shake the killer off. Get out, get away. Ju Hian's surprised voice rang out. Hey rope, I gave you the task. It replied, I can't let it be, I can let you be. Don't worry, I'm tying it tight, very tight. But neither of them knew that the bound Ilya was slowly opening her eyes. Ju Hian stood up and said, okay, let's finish this place. He summoned a lot of the holy relic at once. Come out here and clean it up quickly. Quan Huku saw that scene and had to scream, you're crazy, you plan to use all of the holy relic at the same time with that body? Ju Hian replied, that's how I kept my strength, you idiot, come on, I'm serious. Suddenly he noticed something strange, so he looked in that direction. The blue light emitted made everyone suddenly stop. A huge monster appeared, the demon Solomon. Along with that was their master, Ilya. He woke up so quickly. He was no longer bound by ropes, his face more alert than ever. An explosion erupted, forcing Ju Hian to duck and dodge. He turned around and shouted, hey, if you want to help me attack him, do it properly. Suddenly a miserable scream caught his attention. Jaeha was running away from the monsters behind him. He was crying in pain. The monsters suddenly attacked me. Ilya didn't betray us, did she? Julian also frowned worriedly. Damn, this is getting more and more troublesome. I've been fooled. I don't think I can handle these demons. Chloe and Seola were also forced into a passive position. The enemy on this side was also getting bigger. Damn it, do something. Quan Huku saw the situation before him and became even more pleased. Haha, I knew it, you succeeded. You think Ilya will side with you. Being too optimistic sometimes leads to failure, but this time I will spare you. He gave the order, now defeat them and make them my subordinates Ilya. Suddenly there was a scream from the staff. Chairman, a demon appeared behind you. Quan Huku didn't bother to be on guard at all, confidently saying, it's okay, it's Ilya's demon. But before he could finish speaking, the demon's teeth dug deep into his arm, causing blood to splatter everywhere. His eyes widened in disbelief. Quan Huku fell down and shouted, ah, my hand, my hand. He questioned, Ilya, what is it, why did you attack me? Ilya's voice rang out, you were attacked for being too optimistic. Quan Huku asked again, what? He smirked, sorry, Mr. President, you are no longer my master. Ju Hian asked in surprise, Ilya, your memories are back? He replied, yes, I remember everything, although it still feels a bit strange. I just lay there thinking about whose side I should be on, but after thinking about it for a while, what other choice was there? Jaeha shouted angrily, damn it, if your memories have recovered, and you chose to be on our side, then why are you still attacking me? Ilya replied calmly, I think you know why I pretended to be on their side. That's how I was able to cut off one of his arms, right? Quan Huku glared and growled, what have you done, why did you attack me, Ilya, why did you betray me? Ilya didn't even bother to reply, he summoned the power in his hand with a very gloomy expression. Quan Huku, after being attacked by Ilya, asked in confusion, why did you attack me, Ilya, why did you betray me? He angrily looked at him and shouted, why are you standing next to that Seo Ju Hian guy, what's going on? Ilya looked at him so angry and just smiled contemptuously and replied, I told you, you are no longer my boss. He painfully held his shoulder and still tried to resist, so confused, Seo Ju Hian, what did you do, did you use another memory manipulating holy relic on Ilya? Seo Ju Hian heard that and teased him, what do you think, but it's not necessarily wrong. He heard that and immediately became angry and full of black air, returning him here. His murderous aura was so strong that it surprised Seo Ju Hian and he had to use all his strength to resist. Nero standing beside him saw this and immediately explained, this is the power of domination. He also looked at him angrily, this old man is crazy. Both Yu Jaeha and Julian Miller had to sigh, he had exerted his dominating power, perhaps he had lost control because of Ilya. Suddenly Seo Ju Hian felt interested, he smiled, this is even better. Quan Huku looked at him angrily but still hesitated a bit, honestly speaking, it would be difficult to fight with all of his holy relics. It looked like he intended to defeat us with his own strength without relying on the holy relics. As expected, he had the same intention, he quickly ordered his holy relics to return one by one. Seo Ju Hian also responded to him with great enthusiasm, I am very confident about the area of dominating power. The holy relics looked at him like that and felt a little annoyed and blamed him. Oh my, those humans who like to brag like that will regret it sooner or later. What's the point of calling us out if he's already done that? After that, both Quan Huku and Seo Ju-hyun continuously emitted murderous aura to threaten each other. Julian Miller saw him trying so hard and felt a little angry. That idiot, did he want to faint for another week or something by using so much force? Suddenly his subordinate behind him was continuously coughing up blood. Julian Miller heard the noise and immediately turned his head. Seeing that, he thought to himself, at least it would cause a lot of damage to the opponent and perhaps Seo Ju-hyun would also be hurt a lot after this. Seo Ju-hyun became more and more excited as she confronted him. Quan Huku had to struggle to withstand his attack. He didn't expect, how ridiculous, Seo Ju-hyun, he had this much power. He felt like he was being scammed. This case was not like the information Pandora provided. How could it be? Seo Ju-hyun saw his surprise and just smiled in response, because I have always hidden my true strength. Well, everyone has to hide their trump card from their enemies. He smiled and looked straight into his eyes. Now you understand, right? You made me fight so seriously. You continued to threaten him. You should have attacked with the holy relic like before. Suddenly a huge explosion occurred in between Quan Huku and Seo Ju-hyun. His subordinates had to struggle to resist after that explosion. Even Yu Jae-ha screamed in surprise and was in danger of being blown away. Quan Huku was immediately slammed into the wall. Seo Ju-hyun quickly walked towards him. What? He looked at him with contempt, defeated. Ilya looked at him with a bit of surprise. What the hell, the captain's strength? He wondered, is the captain that strong? It seems the problem has been solved. After being attacked by him, he kept coughing up blood. He even cursed, damn it. Seeing him calmly hit him like that, he got angry at his subordinates. What are you guys doing? Catch him quickly. However, all of his subordinates were knocked out by the explosion. Seeing this, Seo Ju-hyun laughed and said, you idiots, you are all useless subordinates, now I can freely deal with you. He approached the place where he was threatening. Let's get it over with, okay? Hearing that, he was scared. Hey, stop, what do you want to do? Then Seo Ju-hyun quickly mixed out his holy relic. I won't let you escape. Now, Orisis, send him to hell. The holy relic heard this and immediately followed his words, obeying his master's orders. He was controlled by Ju-hyun's holy relic but still spoke out. This was nonsense. It didn't make sense. After releasing so much dominating power you could still use the holy relic? Ju-hyun just replied blandly, that's called class difference, old man, accept it. Suddenly ropes appeared from above. He immediately grabbed the rope that had just been released towards him. But it was still just one of Seo Ju-hyun's holy relics. He ordered, take away all of his holy relics, rope. Then, Quan Huku's holy relic was taken away by rope, and he was dragged down to hell. After he arrived, the gates to hell closed once again. What a happy ever after ending. Yu Jae-ha saw that everything was done and walked over. It's done. If he was dragged to hell, does that mean he's dead? Ju-hyun heard that and immediately replied, no, I just took him to another world called hell. Ju-hyun added that Orisis would still keep him safe. Yu Jae-ha asked further, if that was the case then it was fine, but why didn't he do it as usual? Seo Ju-hyun just smiled and replied, dragging him back to hell was already the best choice? It turns out that Ju-hyun was just enduring it all this time. Quan Huku left and Ju-hyun revealed his true form, and I think I've also reached my limit of enduring the side effects of the holy relic assassin. Chloe saw this and immediately worriedly walked over, sat down, and let me use the holy relic medicine. Seo Ju-hyun sat down and looked at Ilya with praise. Ilya, good job, you played an important role, you made him confused. Ju-hyun laughed and said, adding that he had injured Quan Huku himself, making it easier to defeat him. Ilya didn't mind the compliments, he just had a few questions. I wanted to ask him a few things. Seo Ju-hyun replied after hearing him say that, I know, you want to ask why I'm still alive when I'm obviously dead, right? And why does everyone look fine? Ilya looked at him in surprise. How did he know? He quickly answered as if it was obvious. Everyone asked that when they first recovered their memories. Seo Ju-hyun added, in short, we went back to the past, but we didn't bring our bodies with us, we only brought our memories. He was still a bit puzzled. How did that happen? Seo Ju-hyun replied, I think it was done by the holy relic. But he felt that this was not bad. However, we were in a state of having knowledge of the future about 10 years later, and could use it to get revenge on Chairman Quan. So far everything was going very smoothly. Without waiting for him to ask further, he spoke first, and perhaps he also wanted to ask, why don't we infiltrate TKBM like before and destroy it from the inside, right? Seo Ju-hyun frowned, is it because I don't like it? Ilya asked further, but you didn't intend to give me the option to refuse to join, right? But without waiting for Ju-hyun to answer, he scratched his head in embarrassment. Okay, I was just asking out of curiosity, I don't think that's the problem. Julian Miller was happy to see this situation. It seems like the whole team is reunited? Yu Jae-ha also agreed, yeah, you're right. Seola spoke up, we only need to find 3 more people, not counting Yang Chen, leaving that traitor out. Ilya looked at her and asked, have you found Dan yet? Seola replied, yes, but he can't come here right now. Seo Juhian stood up after being healed by the holy relic. Now, everything here is over. Juhian said happily, let's have a party, let's gather and party. Chloe was surprised, gathering, I don't know why but I haven't heard that word in a long time. Seola explained, now that we've found more members. Ujeha listened to him and enthusiastically agreed, okay, let's go, after dealing with Ilya I'm so hungry, sorry for bothering you. Seo Juhian said, okay let's go. Just like that, they all gathered together and had a party. A variety of delicious fast food was placed in front of them. There is also a fancy karaoke system for them to enjoy. Everyone looked at Ujeha happily and secretly commented, he had already done 2 performances. Julian Miller clapped enthusiastically on the surface, but inside he was annoyed, it was too noisy. After he finished performing his song, he returned the microphone to everyone. Suddenly the song King of Tomb Raider appeared on the screen. Ujeha immediately turned to ask, what is this, who played the song? Seo Juhon quickly raised his hand, oh, it's me. Ujeha was surprised, you want to sing ballad? But he thought it was completely normal, sometimes when resting he often sang ballads. Quickly give him the microphone, and it's not just a ballad, it's a masterpiece. Ujeha was tired and didn't want to argue with him so he returned to his seat, I'm done. Chloe was also teasing him, take a rest or you'll lose your voice. He quickly sat down happily and picked up the can of soda, now was the time to relax and cool his throat. Suddenly a stack of contracts appeared in front of Ilya. Ujeha handed it to Ilya and said, here you go. He took it in surprise and asked, what? Jeha quickly explained, it was written on it that it was a contract. Meanwhile, the captain Seo Juhian in front was still enjoying the ballad he had chosen. Ujeha continued to tell Ilya that he had to sign the contract to join the team. Suddenly he opened his eyes wide and startled as if he had just discovered something. Sure enough, Ilya looked at Jeha and asked, wait, there's something wrong with the contract, and who would sign this kind of contract? Julian Miller sitting next to him added, I'm not really passionate about its content, but I can't refuse. Ilya was immediately startled when she heard that, someone like him signed this? Seola saw their reaction and explained, I think the captain did that because he was betrayed in the past. Chloe also added, it was more like protecting us than forcing us, and it was for the best interest of the group. Ilya was still a bit hesitant, which might be good, but... Seo Juhian's voice suddenly interrupted him, we've always been together even during the last conquest. It was painful for me to see each of my members die, the main reason I did that was because I wanted to relieve everyone's worries. He reiterated, it's all for our team, mostly. He still held the microphone in his hand and looked at him and said, Ilya, that's the main reason, now read it carefully and sign it. He was still surprised, signing this contract. You can't accept it, but the whole thing is so ridiculous, I have to work, but I can't quit twice, this should be called a slave contract. Seo Juhian immediately objected, but I am responsible for paying your salary and ensuring your safety. He was startled again, why are you so confident? But before he could think, Seo Juhian's #1 slave, Ujeha, took his hand, it wasn't that bad anyway. He was looking for his comrades, finally the slave body was not alone anymore. Ilya shouted, what is this, let me go. The scene has shifted to the kingdom under the Eastern Sea. In front is a magnificent castle located in the middle of the sea. There was a silent foot stepping forward. He was a strong man and next to him was an eagle. He quickly entered the territory ahead. He spoke, I have new news, I have something to tell you. Suddenly the area ahead shook violently and accompanied by an angry voice, who dares to desecrate the Holy Land? He quickly replied, it's me, Prometheus. The person inside heard that and immediately calmed down, tired of playing the leader game. Holy Relic inside spoke, what's the matter? Prometheus continued, I want to tell you this, I must expose the royal tomb in front of the whole world. The Holy Relic inside also agreed, yes, if the king positions were left empty, it would be a big problem. He continued speaking, I must choose a capable human to participate and make them take the king position, sooner or later I will open the entrance to my shelter. Another Holy Relic admonished, do not be hasty, my brother. Prometheus continued, I came here today to ask you to delay your schedule a bit. The Holy Relic was surprised when he heard that, what? He also knew what to do and quickly said, don't worry, let me explain. The Holy Relic also urged impatiently, hurry up. He said slowly, we all know that the Royal Museum has a very great reputation in the Holy Relic community. Therefore, I cannot allow just anyone to hold that position. The Holy Relic heard this and wondered even more, isn't that why we fight to be able to choose according to our own will? Prometheus explained further, yes, but before doing so, we must take care of the most fundamental issues. We must know that our chosen ones will be very powerful, but what if they come back to destroy us? Wouldn't it be better to filter humanity first so they don't harm us? That is what my people and I are doing, Han continued, but due to the shortage of humanity that we think is worthy, we cannot keep up with the schedule. That's why I told you to postpone the whole schedule. But the Holy Relic replied stubbornly, we don't care what happens there, we will only do what must be done. Furthermore, we are the most dangerous Holy Relics, what can the lowly humans do against us? Prometheus kept trying to convince them, calm down, you'll have to delay a bit. But they had no intention of doing that at all, we can't wait any longer. He hesitated a bit and then added, I don't want to tell you this story because I'm a bit worried. But now, there is a human who, in my opinion, is truly unworthy of entering the royal tomb, perhaps you will quickly change your mind after hearing about him. The Holy Relics heard that and replied, okay, we will listen. Prometheus thanked him and said, he was a Seo Juhian. They returned to their headquarters after partying and feasting to their heart's content. Seo Juhian pushed the door open and entered. Ilya followed behind him, constantly looking around. What kind of boring place was this? Seo Juhian turned his head to look at him and asked, don't you know what we're hiding in here? He also honestly spoke up, what are you guys hiding here? In front of him was the King of Destiny, his hands restrained and sleeping peacefully. He explained that this was where the King of Destiny was being held, and also where the entire event was being broadcast. Seo Juhian quickly kicked him in the back, wake up. The King of Fate quickly woke up and looked at the person in front of him, Seo Juhian. Juhian looked at him and said to him, okay, Ilya, your first job is to take care of this guy. He added, manipulate his memories and make sure he is on our side. Ilya asked in surprise, my first job is to manipulate the memories of a king, is that too difficult? Hearing that, he immediately reminded him, did you forget the contract? Finally, Ilya had stamped it. This couldn't have been voluntary, it must have been his number one slave who forced him. Seo Juhian looked at him and repeated, but you almost manipulated my memories, although it was very difficult. He didn't object anymore and reluctantly agreed, let me try. Juhian added, but it might take a while. He didn't really care, it's okay, we're not in a hurry. Hearing that, Ilya quickly walked towards the King of Fate, I'll do it. The King of Fate looked at him walking towards him and was a bit scared, what are you doing, stop. Ilya firmly covered his mouth, shut up. He glared at him as he started manipulating, you see me. Seo Juhian looked at the scene before him and thought to himself, if he could make the Destined King join his side, it would be more effective. I won't have to force him to tell me about the prophecy he dreamed about, just sign a contract and I'll get it right away. But more importantly, through the prophecy in his dream, I can decide what to do next. Juhian was excited thinking about what he was about to get, he really couldn't wait. As Ilya said, manipulating memories would take a long time. Seo Juhian calmly played the game while Ilya was torturing the fairy. Although it looked troublesome, it was quite natural. Suddenly Ilya sighed, he heard that and quickly raised his head to look. Seo Juhian asked Ilya, are you done? He quickly replied, yes, I'm tired. He looked at the unconscious King of Fate and explained, he is in a coma, when he wakes up he will be on our side. I have turned you into his colleague and teammate who has worked with him for 30 years. He was a bit surprised to hear that, but I'm not 30 yet, does that make sense? Suddenly he said something that made others confused, when you're with the person you like, time seems to stop. It's true, Seo Juhian didn't understand and asked back, what the hell does it have to do with it, I don't like him either. But he changed the subject, why bother with the details, it's not that important. I've already manipulated his memories perfectly, you can use it now. Although Ilya's explanation was a bit strange, the point was that the King of Destiny was being manipulated. Seola and Julian Miller were here too, they walked in together, we're here. Boss. Seola looked at the person in front of her and asked in surprise, Irene, you came too? Irene saw her and quickly greeted her, greeting Seola. Irene explained, I heard you guys are going to broadcast the prophecy. Oh yeah, I also heard there will be more work from now on. Seo Juhian looked at them and greeted them, everyone has arrived. He looked at Seola and said with a smile, I'm actually exploiting this prophecy, follow me. The King of Fate was actually manipulated by his people. He looked at him and greeted him enthusiastically. Boss, are you back? He also greeted everyone at the same time. Julian Miller felt a little uneasy, was this okay? He looked like a robot, he added. Ilya replied coldly, I don't care what you say. Seo Juhian reassured everyone, well, he just had to make an accurate prophecy, and I've heard some pretty interesting things from him, now let's get to the most important part. He looked at him and asked, hey, Joshua, when and where will the 7 tombs appear? He quickly replied, "He won't appear." Seo Juhian asked in surprise, "What?" Joshua continued to say, "Besides the 7 graves, something else will appear, a grave that is more important." Seo Juhian continued to be surprised. "More important?" He continued, "It is the royal tomb where the family heirlooms rest." Hearing that, he asked, "The royal tomb, so the prophecy you told me last time was fake? This is different from what you said when I asked you to give me the information you know about the holy relic in the crypt, you bastard." Seo Juhian was annoyed. He didn't think there was such a thing. He quickly ordered him to say more. Joshua also listened and continued, "The one who obtained the family heirloom would become the true king." So Juhian gradually lost patience after hearing that. "I know about that, tell me more important information." Joshua said he could choose any of the treasures, but among them, the treasure shaped like a crow was the most valuable. Seo Juhian thought for a moment after hearing him say that. Crow, among the holy relics that exist, it's a coincidence that the most valuable thing has the shape of a crow. Isn't this an unlucky animal? He continued to ask him, "Okay, so where is the crypt?" He quickly replied, "In the Pacific Ocean." The royal tomb is located on the Pacific Ocean. To get there, we must be near South Korea. We should wait there, but we need to do this before going. Irene is here to do the broadcast. Hello everyone, let's start with today's prophetic news. Seo Juhian is plotting all sorts of things. I have a lot of interesting prophecies in my hands and I can create fake prophecies. They kept telling reporters and journalists false news. The location of the next 7 graves was in Iceland and something would appear in Chile. I have spread the most effective prophecies to divide the enemies and I let the King of Destiny speak the prophecies himself, thus increasing the credibility of these false prophets. Keeping the enemy confused, I'm preparing for the trip bit by bit. Eve Rockefeller saw his face and was angry. What was Joshua thinking? She held her head. Why did he have to show his face on those stupid prophetic broadcasts? What good would that do Pandora? A staff member there explained that according to the prophecy broadcast, the King of Destiny used that prophetic power and realized that he should trust Seo Juhian. Eve Rockefeller angrily slammed the table. Why is he doing this? She ordered the person in front of her to quickly find his location and bring him here. What are you waiting for? The other employee replied, trembling with fear. We still don't have the results. Eve Rockefeller was furious. Damn it. Something was wrong. His actions were strange. How could he be friends with Seo Juhian? She pondered. Could it be that what he said was a lie? Something must have happened. Suddenly Eve Rockefeller frowned. Their office is shaking violently. What is this earthquake? Footsteps outside kept ringing. Eve Rockefeller was scared. Don't tell me. It's impossible. Eve Rockefeller quickly ran out of the office to see what had happened. Seeing the person in front of her, she immediately felt unlucky. It was Prometheus. She quickly said hello. You're back. Eve Rockefeller asked fearfully. Have you finished your work, sir? He quickly replied. No problem. I was just annoyed that the holy relics were so stubborn. I couldn't delay the schedule as I wanted. But it was rescheduled in the end. She sighed. That was fine. Then he asked a question that startled her. Is there a problem here? Looking at the old lady's reaction, he said, it seems like there is. Eve Rockefeller trembled uncontrollably. Forgive me. Please forgive me. Prometheus said in a low voice. Tell me what happened. She quickly recounted what he said. Joshua was in trouble. It started when Seo Juhian destroyed his house and kidnapped him. Not long after that, he contacted me saying that he was arrested and would try to trick Seo Juhian. I told him to go back. But he said no. Prometheus frowned at her. She had caused a big problem. Eve Rockefeller quickly bowed her head in apology. I'm sorry. Sir. He continued speaking. I will change that from now on. From the beginning, I did not expect anything from a human like you. He slowly walked towards her. Just because humanity was a bunch of incompetent and selfish people. He walked past her. Now let's get to work. We have a lot to do. The staff saw him and she turned back and called out, Mr. Rockefeller. He quickly greeted the person in front of him. Hello. Boss Rothschild. He spoke. Then. Tell me. The staff announced a sentence that startled both her and the old man. We have found Seo Juhian's whereabouts. Eve Rockefeller heard that and bowed her head angrily. Damn it. I couldn't find it when I looked for it. If I had found it sooner, I could have reported it to Mr. Rothschild to prove my usefulness. The old man asked. Very good. Is the King of Fate there? The other employee continued. Yes. We checked. Rothschild praised. Very good. Send all the elite soldiers. His face darkened with determination. I will use this time as an excuse to completely destroy Seo Juhian. I must kick him off the throne at all costs. A loud call came from inside the company. Everyone. Listen to me. My opponent this time is Seo Juhian. A man known for his ruthlessness. I will have to protect the destined king first. Be prepared to sacrifice yourself to protect him. Use the holy relic to the fullest extent possible. All the soldiers behind said in unison. Yes. Understood. All the soldiers were present at Seo Juhian's residence. Surrounded. Prepared to enter. Their soldiers are all here. We have surrounded Seo Juhian's headquarters. Everyone rushed forward one by one. We entered here. The door to their main office was opened. In front of them was Seo Juhian's team. Looked at them with a bit of surprise and asked, how did you know this place was so cool? Everyone, kill them. Just like that, all the soldiers of Pandora's side and Seo Juhian's side quickly advanced to fight. One of the soldiers raised his sword towards Seo Juhian and quickly slashed through. Seo Juhian immediately knelt down. The other side was surprised. What? He was hit? How could it be so easy? But Seo Juhian in front of him was turning into a stone statue and shattering into pieces. The statue was completely destroyed. They looked at each other, bewildered. What? This is a fake. They're all fake, damn it. They are scared and worried. How should we report this to our superiors? Rothschild on this side is extremely angry. Eve Rockefeller reported to him and was also very scared. He asked, are they fake? She quickly replied, according to the report, they are. He continued, we have to go check. Eve Rockefeller replied shyly, sorry sir. She thought to herself, he always said that after hearing the report. She continued, yes, but I also have another problem. Rothschild immediately frowned upon hearing this, another problem? Eve Rockefeller reported that according to the report, they found a lot of Seo Juhian and his accomplices in just one day. This news completely angered this old man. He gritted his teeth, Seo Juhian, he's playing with me. He's using his fake body to distract me. Eve Rockefeller reassured him, but that doesn't mean we can't catch them, one of them will be real. Rothschild ordered, call the excavation team we work with here. The old man continued to instruct, anyone could check whether he was real or fake, even with low combat power. After listening, she immediately did as he said, yes, I can do that. Rothschild smiled, Pandora is the organization, the holy relic and the largest crypt in the world, we have a lot of soldiers. The excavation team immediately refused when they heard him say that, I'm sorry, I don't think we can do it. The excavation team continued, we are looking for a tomb called the King of Destiny, quite far from there. We are too far away, what to do? No, because there is a prophecy about the crypt appearing here. Pandora's soldiers are still searching, destroy them, this tomb is ours. We've already set up camp, don't you see, who is that guy, if you don't want to die in the tomb then get out of there quickly. Eve Rockefeller on this side heard the report and angrily slammed the table. She was angry, some of the excavation teams we contacted were too far away to come and help. The others were in the crypt and couldn't pick up the phone, and half of them were beaten to death while fighting for the right to conquer the crypt. She kept scolding the reporting staff in front of her, so there are only a few excavation teams that can meet our request. The staff in front of her immediately bowed his head and apologized, I'm sorry, we tried our best. Eve Rockefeller helplessly bowed her head, damn it, why are there so many problems, he's just a human, why is he so difficult to handle? She continued to instruct, to keep reporting, to prepare every excavation team that Pandora had. Eve Rockefeller shouted loudly, this is an emergency, put everything aside, order them to level Seo Juhian. Eunice I will walk towards Chairman Quan and said, Chairman, we have a call from Pandora. He continued to report, they wanted to help them capture Seo Juhian. However, Chairman Quan, who was lying on the hospital bed, replied, we cannot help them now. He explained wearily, the losses my excavation team suffered from the previous incident were too heavy, and my current body was also unable to avoid the attack of some strange holy relic. Benjani beside the old man spoke, with me here, you will recover quickly. The old man quickly replied, it's good to hear that, I never thought King Benjani would cooperate with me. He said a little angrily, you should have come earlier, not that woman named Chloe. Benjani heard that and immediately replied, please forgive me, this time I came to take responsibility for that. She looked at him and asked, will you keep your promise? Chairman Quan quickly replied, of course. Benjani happily bowed and thanked him. On this side, Sao Juhon's team was constantly running away from their pursuit. Ujeha kept shouting while riding his horse, help me, I'm falling. Ilya looked at him and coldly replied, just fall, I'll pick you up again. Jeha got angry after hearing what he said, hey guy, if I fall at this speed, I'll die. He continued to tease, then pick up the corpses, these two guys are really crazy. They are on their way to the Pacific Ocean. Sao Juhon rode ahead of them, calm down, just hold on a little longer, we'll be back in Korea soon. Thanks to the demon in Solomon's forbidden book Lemmageddon, we got there faster than by plane. If you're bored, I'll tell the demon to come over and keep you company. Slave number 1 immediately got angry when he heard his boss say that, I don't need it. Very quickly they arrived in Seoul. Sao Juhon looked at Ilya lying on the ground and asked in confusion, as usual, but why is even Ilya in such a mess? He quickly replied, I was drained of energy by that holy relic. Hearing that, he immediately advised them to try to increase their endurance from now on. Seeing how tired they were, Irene spoke up, you can use my special plane. But Sao Juhon refused, no need, using the holy relic is faster and also makes it harder for others to find. Irene heard that and felt sad, she was so useless. Suddenly the phone rang, Sao Juhon answered, someone is calling. Sao Juhon quickly picked up, hello, our trusted spy. George Hilton on this side was angry, why did you bring my sister? But he replied indifferently, Irene insisted on coming along, what should we do? Hearing that, he shouted loudly, you should refuse, why didn't you do that? Sao Juhon changed the subject again, but forget it, what's the matter, you didn't call me just to ask about Irene, right? He quickly recounted, Pandora was hunting your clones one by one, they were even recruiting more soldiers to hunt you, but it was no use. They're expecting there to be a real one among the fake ones, I don't think they'll stop until they kill all these clones. Why did Juhon ask that? Does that mean they can't work directly with me now? The guy on the other side quickly confirmed the same thing. He heard what he wanted and immediately replied, okay, just keep an eye on Pandora's movements. George Hilton is still angry, I know, but you tell my sister. But before he could finish speaking, he harshly hung up. So Juhon looked at Ujeha and praised, the fake copies are very useful. Slave number 1 was happy when he heard that, oh, that's good, it's worth the effort I put in. Suddenly he realized he said something wrong and corrected himself, but no, if I don't try I'll be in trouble, I worked so hard for them, look at my dark eyes. He continued to defend himself, I guess that's why I had such a hard time riding that demon horse, it was just because I was tired. Ilya came from somewhere and teased him, lying. Immediately got angry, what the hell, have you ever made things as difficult as me, you bastard? He was also not easy, of course, you think calling those demons out is easy? Sao Juhon looked at them helplessly, come on. He looked at the two of them and said, you two did very well. Ujeha created a lot of clones, and Ilya helped us get here. So let's do some recovery. Ilya was surprised, recovery. He quickly looked towards Seola and said, open the door, Seola. The delivery man immediately appeared before them with a row of high-quality beef. It seemed that they were regulars of this shop, he even greeted them happily, Captain, long time no see. Sao Juhon happily said, let's make some beef to replenish our energy. When I called Dan, he said he would bring the best cuts of meat over. Ujeha saw that and immediately drooled with desire. He happily shouted, wow, meat is true love, meat. Ilya looked at him without any joy, what a simple mind. The smell of grilled meat made my stomach growl loudly. For a foodie like Ujeha, waiting for it to be cooked was torture, so he ate it before it was cooked. Seeing that, Ilya immediately reminded him, idiot, it's still alive. They were treated to a very high-quality meal today, so full. Dan heard Juhon say that and said, you're full, then stop. He said he was full, but as soon as he heard someone inviting him, no one wanted to miss out on their portion. I ate. After the meal, Juhon personally saw Dan off, thank you, thanks to you the members got to eat delicious meat. If I had known the group had more members, I would have brought more, Dan said guiltily. What are you talking about, there are still a lot, huh? Seo Juhyun asked Dan about his family, how was Sue, and his business. Of course everything was fine, Dan replied with a smile. Sue has recovered and is slowly regaining her spirits. Juhon feels a little more relieved hearing that, very good. At this moment, Dan suddenly remembered something he wanted to tell him, oh, and I'm used to using the holy relic, oh. Seo Juhyun heard that and immediately said, good news, let's see how much you've improved. Sounds good, I'm a little full, a little exercise would be good. At first, Dan was a bit hesitant at his offer, sorry, boss. But looking at Juhon's serious expression, he probably couldn't refuse. I want to see how you've developed, let's have a match, of course, a match is the most effective. Hey, try it, Juhon handed the other party a holy relic. Dan was in contact with this thing for the first time, still a bit worried. Is this thing too dangerous? But Ju-hoon had great confidence in his abilities, and said, I'm sure you can control it. Me, still. He originally wanted to ask Seo Ju-hyun for permission to switch from a sword to a dagger. I usually use dagger-type holy relics. I'm more confident with them because I also use daggers to cut meat. But of course Ju-hoon didn't want to. He wanted to use this holy relic, dagger, or sword. They were just different in size. Oh right, I haven't fought in a while. Let's warm up. Start. Seo Ju-hyun was the first to attack. He held another sword and charged towards the opponent. On the opposite side, Dan also immediately used his sword to block Ju-hoon's sword. No matter how many sword strikes Seo Ju-hyun makes, Dan will block that many. Ju-hoon tried to encourage him, see? You can hold it, you can do it, right? Thanks to that, Dan also gained more confidence. I will try. The two of them once again charged at each other, a little more seriously. This time, Dan did not choose to defend anymore but started to attack back. His performance surprised Seo Ju-hyun as well. Oh, he started to balance the game, even though he was only playing on instinct. He can even dodge and counterattack. Just like that, their swords collided, and the two of them came face to face. In the end, both of them stepped back. Ju-hoon also had to praise him. Good, you are very good. Using the never-used holy relic is not easy, as I thought. You have high dominating power. He was born with an ability that everyone coveted. He possessed a high level of dominance and great physical strength. Dan temporarily did not understand these technical terms of Seo Ju-hyun. What was dominance? In short, he had a knack for using the holy relic. If you practice hard you will soon become very good. I brought quite a few holy relics for you to practice with. Here, practice until you can use all of these holy relics, Ju-hoon said, holding the pile of swords and bringing them to Dan. Dan was surprised by the number of swords in his hand. All of them? But that's not enough. Oh, there's something else that can help you. Here, Ju-hoon quickly took out a small stack of photos from his pocket and gave them to the other person. Dan saw that and asked curiously, what is it? An ID photo? Lin was explained to by him that it was also the holy relic. If he radiated a bit of dominating aura, he would feel everything happening inside that photo. It would help him practice close combat. After being able to use the King of Destiny at will, I tried to figure out how to make the most of the holy relic. I think it would be good for Dan to practice with a camera that takes pictures of the world in the past. He can feel the situation inside the picture, so it would be very effective for practice. Unlike Munan's tear, which would bring back his memories completely, this one would not. It would only bring back experience in battles. Try a photo. Dan immediately agreed. Yes. As soon as the first photo was used, Dan's expression gradually became unsightly. The series of images appeared super realistically in his mind. Dan was brought to a place with a lot of people holding the holy relic in their hands. He had no idea what was going on. I have to fight this many people. Wait, but this. So real. Everything feels so real. The holy relic can do anything. The enemy even attacked Dan as if he were in reality. They came. Dan frantically dodged. Killed. Kicked the opponent down. Those people seem to be no match for him. They don't seem to have any intention of giving up. Xiang Dan prepares to shoot arrows. He is a monster. Prepare the long-range holy relics. Immediately. A barrage of arrows just like that aimed straight at Dan. Fire. Dan's eyebrows immediately furrowed. He thought. Damn it. Should I avoid it? No, I want to avoid it. But why can't I move? The next second. Dan seemed to explode on the spot. He let out a loud scream. What is this? It looks like a movie. Is this real? Eyes also became fierce. But after that outburst, he returned to reality. My head. Ju-hyun saw that and spoke up. Ah, you're awake. It won't hurt for long. Really? What do you think? Would that kind of training be beneficial? Dan then told him about what he had experienced in there. Yes, I understood the effective steps and how to use the holy relics. It all felt so real. Well, just use them for studying. Same with the rest of the photos. That's enough for today. Good job. Done. Ju-hyun quickly left. Yeah. After testing the first shot, Dan was a little curious about this. Should he ask the captain before trying another one? They don't look like ordinary simulations. Everything is so real. I can definitely feel what's inside the pictures. But they were too real. Like they had happened before. Or like the captain said, he was very good at using the holy relic. On this side, Ju Hian has also returned home. Captain, you're back. You're late. Is something wrong? Seol Ah asked worriedly. Ju Hian smiled and replied. It's nothing. I was just helping him out. Suddenly a voice called out to him. Hey master. So it was Osiris who came to find him. Wasn't this too much? His sudden appearance here made Ju Hian a little confused. Osiris. What's wrong? What's the complaint? Ju Hian asked Osiris in a low voice. Osiris said angrily. Of course. What the hell did you tell me to seal? He's stronger and more stubborn than I thought. If you want to teach him a lesson, there's a place like that in the human world. Hurry up and bring him there. Ju Hian heard him complain like that. Then he frowned and said. That old man is still acting up in there. What did he do? Thinking about that guy pissed Osiris off. He really pissed me off. It was like eating shit. Back to before. Osiris had given his orders to his forces. Go. Silence him forever. He had just seen his undead forces and gone mad. The undead kept appearing out of nowhere. Yeah, fine, have it your way. But still. It's a bit annoying. I should find a way out as soon as possible. The crazy guy Osiris just mentioned is Quan Huku. He turned his gun on the zombies. There were still plenty of holy relics to take care of. But I couldn't do this forever. And that's why Osiris looks so pathetic. Damn. Look what he did to me. Ju Hian thought it looked bad too. Alright. Jeha will heal people every day from now on. Osiris was a little more satisfied when he heard that. Oh, that's right. I'll remind him later. And I have this plan for you. On this side, Quan Huku was still trying to shoot at the zombies. He also killed quite a few zombies. And among the zombies, Quan Huku suddenly saw something big appear. Oh, it was. Quan Huku was overjoyed when he saw it. It was the demon from Ilya's holy relic. He sent the demon to save him. Right. How could he betray me? He probably pretended to be Seo Ju Hon's accomplice to save me. Demon flew forward crazily. Ignoring Quan Huku's call, hey demon, I'm here. Take me with you. Fly slowly. It just kept flying straight. Ignoring the guy running out of breath behind. That's right. This damned devil. I can't die here. Suddenly, the demon unexpectedly returned to its original form. This made Huku slightly surprised. Did it change form? Quan Huku thought happily. This scroll. Does it contain a way out of here? Who would have thought that when I opened it, there was a sentence about a cold inside? Maybe I was fooled too. Stupid. But these things can only be thought of by a Seo Ju Hian. Quan Huku was really pissed off by you. Seo Ju Hian, you bastard. Ju Hian didn't need to look to know how ugly his face looked. It really made him laugh to death. Ha ha ha. That old man must be really angry. Ilya was also helpless with Seo Ju Hian's naughtiness. He was already locked up and he was still teasing him. Ju Hian told them he had something to tell them. He'll definitely continue to rebel. Jeha, remember to recover Osiris and check the team's holy relic. The royal tomb will definitely be difficult. We must prepare. Yes, it will be tiring. Everyone replied wearily. We'll go after we're done here. Everyone hurry up and finish everything. Okay. Preparations for the conquest of the royal tomb began in earnest. While the members did their work, I looked over Pandora's status. They kept trying to find me, but failed. Because of that, they didn't care about anything but me. What Pandora found was a fake Ju Hian. And a fake one, you bastard. Ju Hian was very pleased with this. Everything was going according to plan. At this rate, he could leisurely take over the royal tomb. On this side, Dan, after putting Sue to sleep, said, "Good night, honey. The rest of the time is for me." Dan immediately took out the stack of photos. Now that everything is done, let's get started. I've been picking and choosing for a while. Which one should I try this time? This photo. Finally picked a photo to test. Let's go. As soon as the photo was used, Dan heard the voice of the character inside it. You are a famous hunter. Show me your abilities. The opponent seems to be no match for you. Yes. Duel this time the opponent looks strong. Even though the circumstances are different, one thing that remains the same is the feeling it brings. Still the same, very real. Unlike a simulation, it's like I'm watching a scene. And after watching it, I remember it very clearly. It was as if I had experienced it myself, but there was nothing wrong with this holy relic, because according to the captain, it worked like that. Can you handle it? The opponent is preparing to strike Dan, but it still confuses me. When I was in this scene, I kept trying to move my body, but my body didn't move the way I wanted it to, as if it decided on its own. Dan could only use his shield to block the opponent's fire attack. Even now, I think that blocking this attack was very dangerous. I tried to dodge it, it feels like my memory, otherwise how could this scene be so detailed? But I never wanted to do these things. Is this a fake memory, created by the captain so that he can experience the combat environment without actually being on the battlefield? Dan's emotions instantly became out of control, and he stabbed the dagger into the ground. The power it radiates makes even his opponents panic. I don't know. This time too, after getting out of those photos, Dan felt a headache. I really don't understand, is it a scene about my memories? The things he experienced made him more curious, wanting to explore more, try another photo, maybe in the other photos there would be signs of this strange phenomenon. This time, the opponent is in the role of captain. Let me take care of this place, everyone run quickly. I called him Captain, Seo Ju-hoon. Why does the captain's face look like that? Dan couldn't see the faces of the two people standing in front of him clearly at all. Hey, watch out, here they come, Dan's captain warned loudly. This scene is so familiar, nothing, and it's a battle scene, maybe there will be another scene with hints? After getting rid of one photo, Dan was crazy and wanted to try the next photos, try another one. The frequency was getting faster, another photo. Another, and in each one Dan was fighting with someone. However, as the days went by, Dan could no longer control his emotions, and the outbursts followed. Once again, at this moment, another voice suddenly called out to Dan, "Calm down, my friend." What? Dan looked at the other person with a puzzled look. It's that familiar crow, the crow that's related to Ju-hyun, appearing again. Don't push yourself too hard, your mind will explode, he'll be sad if you do that. Its appearance made Dan a little curious. A crow, is it part of this scene? But it doesn't seem like it. Its appearance made Dan a little curious. That crow, is it part of the dream? But I don't think so. Why are you stopping me? I think if I tried a little harder, I could have found a clue. Dan loudly scolded the crow. Little did he know, the crow played a very important role here. No matter how hard you try, you won't find anything. Trying like that is useless. It really advises Dan that you are just destroying your mind, stop it. Immediately, a strange energy appeared around Dan.